At first, it feels like nothing. A quiet apartment, a phone that doesn't buzz, a chair across the table, empty. You tell yourself it's fine. It isn't. Somewhere in your brain, a very old alarm just went off. Here's the strange part. Brain scans show loneliness activates some of the same regions involved in physical pain. Not identically, not perfectly, but enough overlap that rejection doesn't just feel bad emotionally, it registers as a kind of injury. There's a theory for why. For most of human history, being alone wasn't just uncomfortable, it was dangerous. No group meant no protection, no shared food, no one to notice if you didn't come back. So evolution did what it does best. It turned isolation into a warning signal. Loneliness became your body's way of saying, this is unsafe. Fix it. Which means, right now, sitting in traffic or lying in bed at midnight, some part of your nervous system still thinks you're standing alone on an open plain. That's why loneliness rarely feels like sadness alone. It feels like fear, quietly underneath everything else. But there's good news buried in this. If loneliness is a signal, it's not a verdict on who you are. A smoke alarm going off doesn't mean you're broken. It means something needs attention. That's it. Hold on to that. Because the next few minutes get heavier before they get lighter. Start with the obvious question. Isn't being alone sometimes good? Yes. Solitude and loneliness aren't the same thing, even though they look identical from the outside. Solitude is chosen. Your nervous system feels safe inside it. You can sit alone in a cabin for a week and come back calmer than when you left. Loneliness is different. It's not about whether anyone's in the room. It's the feeling that if you needed someone, no one would come. Same empty chair. Completely different signal underneath it. That distinction matters because it means the fix isn't simply be around more people. Plenty of people feel lonely in marriages, in friend groups, in busy offices. The body isn't counting heads, it's checking for safety. Now here's where it gets physical. Chronic loneliness doesn't stay in your head, it shows up in your body. Researchers have linked long-term loneliness to higher inflammation, weaker immune response, even increased risk of heart disease. One widely cited estimate compares the health impact of prolonged loneliness to smoking close to 15 cigarettes a day. Not a metaphor. A measurable cost. It even follows you into sleep. Lonely people, on average, report more nighttime awakenings. Some researchers think it traces back to that same old survival wiring. In an unsafe environment, deep, uninterrupted sleep is a risk. Your ancestors couldn't afford to sleep too soundly without a group around them to keep watch. So a brain that feels unwatched stays half alert. Even at 3 a.m., you wake up tired without knowing why. Your body was working a night shift you didn't ask for. Years of that adds up. But here's something most people get wrong about loneliness. It isn't really about how many people are around you. You can be in a crowded room, full of conversation, and still feel like you're watching everyone else through glass. The difference isn't head count, it's the gap between the connection you have and the connection you actually need. Your brain tracks that gap closely, maybe more closely than anything else in your social life, which is why loneliness hides so well. It survives behind a smile in a group photo, behind "I'm fine," typed out at midnight, behind small talk that never quite becomes a real conversation. And it doesn't affect everyone the same way. Teenagers feel it most around belonging. One missed group chat, one excluded lunch table, and the brain reads it as social exile. Adults feel it most around recognition, surrounded by coworkers and family, but rarely asked how they're actually doing. Older adults often feel it the most acutely of all. Partners pass away, friends move or pass away too. The room that used to be full slowly empties out, one chair at a time, often without anyone else noticing it happening. Same signal, different stage, same ancient nervous system underneath all of it. So why does loneliness still hit this hard? In a world more connected than any in history? Maybe because most of our connection now is wide, but thin. Hundreds of contacts, few real conversations. We can reach almost anyone in seconds. But reaching someone isn't the same as being known by them. There's a specific kind of loneliness that didn't exist a generation ago. The kind that comes from scrolling. You watch someone else's vacation, someone else's wedding, someone else's group photo, 6 people deep, none of them you. Your brain doesn't fully register that you're looking at a screen. Some part of it reacts as if you're standing just outside a window, watching a party you weren't invited to. Hundreds of moments like that, stacked up over a year. can leave you feeling more disconnected than if you'd simply spent the evening alone with no phone at all. Most of us don't just want attention. We want someone who actually understands what we're dealing with. Without that, something starts to dim, not all at once. Gradually, the way a room gets darker before you notice you're sitting in the dark. There's one more twist, and it's a cruel one. The lonelier someone becomes, the more their brain starts expecting rejection before it happens. A neutral face looks cold. A slow reply looks like distance. Silence sounds like abandonment. The mind, trying to protect itself, starts preparing for disconnection by assuming it's already happening, which only makes the isolation worse. A loop that feeds itself. It's worth saying plainly, this isn't a character flaw. It's a prediction system doing exactly what it evolved to do, just aimed at the wrong target. And loops like this can be interrupted, not with some perfect solution, usually with something small. A text you almost didn't send, a call you talked yourself out of twice, a door left unlocked instead of bolted shut. To a nervous system that's been running on alert, even a small moment of real connection is enough to start letting the guard down. It doesn't undo years of wiring in one conversation, but it tells the alarm system, briefly, that the danger it's been tracking isn't here right now. Do that enough times, and the alarm starts to quiet down on its own. So maybe the ache of loneliness isn't proof that something is wrong with you. It's proof that you're built the way humans are built, wired for other people, the same way you're wired to need sleep or water or air. The need isn't the malfunction. Ignoring it is what costs you. Somewhere right now, someone else is sitting in a quiet room, convinced they're the only one feeling exactly this. They're not, and neither are you.